We pick up the conversation about the internal struggles South Florida schools now face when it comes to balancing parents' rights, including all families, and the new law meant to ensure just that. Lucia Baez-Geller is the Miami-Dade School Board member who proposed, again, marking LGBTQ History Month, and the only vote this time to support it. Lucia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Glenna. I'm so happy to be here to talk about this important issue for our community.
So hopefully you were able to hear the segment we just did with your colleague, the vice chair. You know, he was talking about that the vote on Wednesday, although it was a no vote by a large margin, except for you, that it does not prevent teachers from having the academic freedom to go ahead and teach components or celebrate LGBTQ month. Does that comport with your understanding?
Absolutely. Our school district continues to support our LGBTQ community full force, and we will continue to do so. But what I think this vote showed then, because they are allowed to do all of these things, is that the governor's anti-LGBTQ rhetoric is truly having a chilling effect. And I believe that that is why maybe there was a no vote, even though we know our students are and teachers are legally protected to do all of the things that the item was calling for. And I believe for me, that's a reason for alarm.
Understood. I want to sort of focus in on something you just said about the governor's anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. What you characterize as rhetoric, there are many people, many families who consider it much more than rhetoric, and for whatever their reasons are, whether they be faith-based, culture-based, there are truly a lot of people, many of whom you saw at the school board meeting, who either oppose or fear or are concerned with what this curriculum or what this academic freedom might look like. How do you hear that? How do you address that?
Absolutely. Well, as soon as I submitted the item, I definitely started to receive a lot of emails, social media communications from a lot of the same groups that you do see coming to the school board. And I absolutely respect their right to voice their opinion. It is a democracy. But unfortunately, what I heard so many of those people speaking in opposition to, it really was just misinformation, because this item certainly does not indoctrinate kids. There was all of the safeguards in place within the law to make sure that we do adhere to all of the law, which is very important to me. But unfortunately, it was just misinformation, and it certainly was not what our community needed to hear.
There is, in the law and in your district and in other districts around Florida, there is the opt-out. And that is the valve by which any parent, no matter what the issue is or what the curriculum is, to be able to opt out. How many parents so far, I mean, this law is young, it's not even 2 months old yet, and to your point, curriculum is changing because of what many teachers might consider a chilling effect. But how many parents have opted out of anything so far? Do you know?
I've actually heard in my district, because I do get reports, we had one parent opt out of a summer reading book, and an alternative book was provided, and the issue was completely taken care of. And I believe that's what we would like to see, all of these issues of opt out being handled at the school site so that every parent feels heard and seen. And that's very important. And so that's what I'm hearing, is most of these things are resolved immediately at the school site, alternative lessons. And if in this case, a parent believed that learning about an American law or a Supreme Court case would be too controversial, I believe that there would be a number of options available, as we would know of other laws that they could read.
So I want to ask you about the flip side of that opt-out, because now that there is this chilling effect that we are hearing and reporting that you all are seeing, what about the families who feel like their child should be learning something that he or she may not be learning? Is there a component for that kind of academic freedom for families who want more?
Absolutely. I mean, this item should not have been divisive in any way, a discussion of our American law to recognize the struggle and the contributions of marginalized groups. And I just feel in this political climate, in this time, it's always the right thing to do to support any group that's being singled out. Because if the climate were to shift to another group, we want to make sure that we're not erasing history little by little. And I think parents should come and speak to that, because the parental rights bill does work both ways.
So do you foresee that this is a done deal, or do you foresee this coming back somehow, like the textbook issue?
Well, I personally am going to bring it back every year as long as I am in my term and that I can do it. I will be bringing it back, and we will continue to shape the item in ways that hopefully can be even more clear. I'm not sure how much more clear I could be, but that we can reduce as many of the challenges or things that come up. But unfortunately, like I said, a lot of the negative comments on this item are just simply not based in fact, unfortunately.
Lucia Baez-Geller, great to have you aboard. Thank you for your perspective.
Thank you for your time, and we're never going to stop protecting our children.
Good to hear.